Hello, my friends. Welcome back to StoryPath English. Imagine a hot summer day. You're walking down a busy street, and the sun is burning. Suddenly, you see a small shop with a bright sign. You buy a scoop of cold, creamy, sweet goodness. As it melts on your tongue, you feel happy. You feel cool. You are eating ice cream. Today, ice cream is everywhere. You can buy it in every grocery store, in every city, on every continent. It is the world's favorite dessert. But for thousands of years, ice cream was white gold. It was a secret kept by kings. It was so expensive and so difficult to make that a single bowl cost more than a house. How did a luxury for emperors become a treat for everyone? How did ice cream conquer the world? Stay with me. And if you enjoy learning English through these delicious stories of history, please subscribe to StoryPath English. Our story begins 2,500 years ago in the ancient mountains of Persia and China. In those days, there were no refrigerators. There were no freezers. If you wanted something cold in the summer, you had to be very rich and very powerful. The emperors of China loved a special snack, buffalo milk, mixed with flour and camphor, frozen in the snow. In ancient Rome, the Emperor Nero was famous for his hunger for ice. He would send his fastest runners up into the cold mountains. They would run for miles, carrying heavy blocks of snow and ice back to the palace before it melted. The chefs would mix the snow with honey, nuts, and fruit. This was the first ice cream. It wasn't creamy like today. It was more like a snow cone, but it was a symbol of ultimate power. To eat ice in the summer meant you could command the mountains themselves. For centuries, the secret of frozen desserts moved slowly across the world. It traveled along the Silk Road from China to the Middle East, where people created sharbat, a chilled fruit drink. From there, it traveled to Italy. In the 1600s, ice cream was the most fashionable thing in the royal courts of Europe. It was a secret recipe. King Charles I of England reportedly paid his French chef a massive fortune every year to keep the recipe a secret. The king didn't want the common people to taste his frozen snow. He wanted to be the only man in England with a cold tongue. But secrets in the kitchen never last forever. By the 1700s, the first ice cream shops opened in Paris and New York, but it was still very, very difficult to make. To make ice cream, you had to put a bowl of cream inside a larger bucket of ice and salt. Then, you had to shake it and stir it by hand for hours and hours. Your arms would ache. Your back would hurt. Only the very wealthy could afford the servants to do this work. Then, in 1843, a woman in America changed everything. Her name was Nancy Johnson. Nancy loved ice cream, but she hated the work. She was an inventor. She created a simple machine, the hand-cranked ice cream freezer. It had a handle that you turned, which moved a paddle inside the cream. It was fast. It was easy. It made the ice cream smoother and creamier than ever before. Nancy didn't have much money, so she sold her patent for only $200. She didn't become rich, but her invention changed the world. Suddenly, ordinary people could make ice cream in their own kitchens. Small businesses started making large batches. Ice cream was moving from the palace to the street, but there was still one problem. How do you carry it? In the 1800s, people ate ice cream out of small glass bowls called penny licks. You paid a penny, licked the glass clean, and gave it back to the seller. It was dirty and slow. The solution came in 1904 at the World's Fair in St. Louis. It was a very hot year. An ice cream seller named Arnold ran out of clean glass bowls. He didn't know what to do. Next to his stand was a man from Syria named Ernest, who was selling zalabia, thin, crispy waffles. Ernest saw the problem. He took one of his hot waffles, rolled it into a tube, and gave it to Arnold. Arnold put a scoop of ice cream on top. The ice cream cone was born. It was a revolution. Now, you could eat your dessert and your bowl at the same time. You could walk and eat. You were free. In the 1920s and 30s, new technology changed the game again. Mechanical refrigeration meant that shops didn't need to buy giant blocks of ice anymore. They could keep ice cream frozen all night. During World War II, ice cream became a symbol of home for American soldiers. The government even built a floating ice cream parlor, a ship that did nothing but make ice cream for the troops in the Pacific. It made 10 gallons of ice cream every 7 seconds. When the war ended, the world was hungry for joy. Ice cream shops opened everywhere. New flavors were invented: Rocky Road, mint chocolate chip, strawberry. Ice cream trucks began to drive through neighborhoods, playing music that children still recognize today. The story of ice cream is a story of how science and imagination turned a royal luxury into a universal joy. It shows that the best things in life don't stay secrets for long. They spread because they bring people together. From the snow-capped mountains of ancient China to the colorful cones in your hand today, ice cream has traveled a long road. It is a road made of ice, sugar, and the human desire for a little bit of magic on a hot day. Thank you for listening to this story on StoryPath English. I hope this story made you smile and maybe made you a little hungry. Tell me in the comments, what is your favorite ice cream flavor? And do you prefer a cone or a bowl? I love reading your answers from all over the world. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to StoryPath English. It helps me create more stories to help you learn English naturally. See you in the next story, my friends. Stay cool.